Hey fight fans, I'm John Pollock and this is Fight News Now Extra. We're coming out of a packed weekend of fights as the UFC and Bellator went against each other on Friday night, and Invicta FC presented their first card on Fight Pass, headlined by an atomweight title bout. Ronaldo Jacare Souza prevailed in Friday night's UFC Fight Night 50 main event, submitting Gegard Mousasi with a guillotine at 4:30 of the third round. Jacare was the dominant fighter throughout the bout, working for takedowns and forcing Mousasi to fight off of his back. The win places Jacare in a coveted spot as he could be next in line for the next middleweight championship bout after Chris Weidman defends the title against Vitor Belfort coming up on December the 6th. The Fight Night 50 card also saw Ben Rothwell surprise and impress many onlookers by stopping Alistair Overeem in the opening round of their heavyweight contest. The strike that led to the finish was a right hand behind the ear of Overeem that sent him down to the mat, and Rothwell finished him with more strikes on top. It was Rothwell's first fight in over a year, and Overeem has now lost 3 of his last 4. And Invicta FC 8 went down Saturday night from Kansas City, Missouri on UFC Fight Pass. Atomweight champion Michelle Waterson successfully defended her gold in the main event with a one-sided breakdown of Yasuko Tamada. Waterson used her superior striking with strikes at distance, knees from the clinch, and a barrage of strikes at the tail end of the third round as the official stepped in to stop the bout with 2 seconds remaining in the round. And here I am with Robin Black and John Ramdeen. What style here? I don't want to get too close to Ramdeen. I might cut myself. He looks so sharp here.
It's true.
Well, there is lots to discuss coming off of this past weekend. We had 3 big cards. Friday night had the Bellator and UFC somewhat head-to-head battle when you configure all the different times. And it seems that the biggest talking point coming out of Friday night was not any of the fights. It was Tito Ortiz, Stephan Bonnar, and the mystery man, Justin McCulley, who nobody knew when they unmasked him here. And it's led to lots of vitriol online about, man, is this going to be an indication of where things go with Bellator? Are we going to see constant angles, for lack of a better term at this point? It's something that, I mean, good or bad, people are definitely discussing it. I think the jury's out until we know, are people interested in seeing this fight on November the 15th, and that's kind of where it'll be bore out. But it was over the top and goofy. There's no denying that.
It was goofy. I mean, Justin McCulley was wearing a mask. I mean, of course it was goofy. But
can't just have one mask, because then everyone would know it's Justin McCulley, perhaps. Too early. Got to make that reveal, milk it.
But the fact is that they're just trying to create interest. Everybody knows the UFC. I think when people think, the casual fans, when they talk about mixed martial arts, they really don't even call it mixed martial arts. They call it ultimate fighting. And I think Bellator, whatever they can do to try to change that, to try to get a new audience, this pro wrestling audience. I mean, Bobby Lashley competed on the Bellator card. He's TNA's heavyweight champion. Stephan Bonnar tried his best to cut this promo. So whatever you can do to try to create interest, I think the Bellator organization needs to do it. They need to drive as many fans to their product because, you know, quite frankly, you'll get to see that some people will argue and say, yeah, it was nonsense, it was all set up, it didn't work. But then they got to see Tamden McCrory smoke Brendan Ward, and you want to talk about real mixed martial arts? Well, we got to see it after 5 years away from the sport. This is what Bellator is doing. In addition to, you know, putting in these crazy little promos, they're bringing in real talent.
Yeah, it made me a little uncomfortable, and it made me worry a little bit. Like, whether or not it works or doesn't work, I don't really care, and I don't really mind seeing it. I'm a mixed martial arts guy. I'm a martial arts guy. That's what I like. I don't mind it there, but what worries me about it is if it works. All of a sudden, everything is driven by commerce. Everything is driven by eyeballs and clicks and likes and stuff like that. If this works, that's where all the effort goes. That's where all the money goes. It doesn't go to finding the best fighter. It doesn't go to promoting the best athletes. It goes to the guys who can talk a lot. So I think in the long run, I really hope it fails, because if it succeeds, things that succeed, you got to do more of them.
Hasn't this always, though, been something that, I mean, this one was so over the top that it was really hard for even the casual fan at home to kind of buy this hook, line, and sinker. But I mean, the amount of times, I always go back to that end of that one particular prime time where they had George St. Pierre and Dan Hardy, and Dan Hardy's going to pick up a mystery man at the airport, and it's revealed it's Matt Serra, and you knew this was just a complete stunt to add a story to this particular fight. I mean, it's always been out there. Fighters saying, you know, they were just talking to build up the fight. I mean, that's pro wrestling for you right there. I don't really hate John Ramdeen, but I know I'm fighting him, and I know that it's going to be to my best interest to conjure up this conflict. I don't hate him. him, but I need to make money with him, and this has always existed in mixed martial arts. You look at Pride, a promotion that is so romanticized that its blueprint was professional wrestling, right down to worked fights, not to deceive the public, but to build up their Japanese stars around their Takadas, and so that there would be this business for them to put out other fights of that nature. I mean, that's why I separate mixed martial arts so much from traditional sports.
Yes.
Traditional sports, you don't have your Scott Coker going out there saying, we are about television ratings and we want you for the big fight, you have to spend money. You don't have to do that in any other sport. It's something, it's you own unique beast, really, in that sense.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, Scott Coker knows what he's doing, and, you know, you can say, oh, he's not doing the right things, but when I came into the office this weekend, there was a UFC that happened on Friday night, and all anybody could talk about, as you mentioned before, was the fiasco between Stephan Bonnar and Tito Ortiz. So clearly the Bellator organization is doing what they need to do. Yes, they've signed on the dotted line. They're going to get in the cage in November, and they are going to fight. But before that happens, Bellator is hoping that the most amount of people that could possibly tune into this fight and come to the venue are going to.
Yeah, you know, I know that my ridiculous obsession with the minutia of martial arts is unique, but I can't be alone. There is a pure sport audience. There is an audience of people who just love the sport itself. And what happens, the better something succeeds, the more likely it is to be done more. If promos are the thing, and that's what gets people buying things, that's what sells pay-per-views and gets ratings, we got to do more promos. If we do more promos, we got less fights every night. If we do more promos, we got less fighters who can't speak but fight like crazy. And that's what scares me personally as a fan of the sport. I just want to see the best fights.
We're going to find out November the 15th. Stephan Bonnar and Tito Ortiz, they will be fighting. And
Will Brooks and Michael Chandler
2014. But everyone, though, talking about Bonnar and Tito Ortiz. We have more Fight News Now Extra coming up right now.